he's gotten over the hump of injuries, and
Yep.
and we're gonna see something different out of him, I expect anyway. So anyway, gate down on this one as we are off and rolling. Moto number 3, 65cc, 7 to 9 year olds. It's race number 19 as we head through the Stasic hole shot.
Man, they were just wide open. Carter Gray out of St. Clairsville, Ohio, on the gas will be credited with the hole shot on the number 96 machine.
Actually got a little fist pump.
Wow, you pumped enough blood down that little arm of yours up to that fist to hoist it over your head, and then the blood all drains back out. You don't need to reallocate the blood just to the main organs, dude. At any moment, Rodney could die, so we don't need to see any extracurricular moving here.
I'll try to keep my hands down, Kevin.
Settle down. He's sitting down. He's actually laying flat on the floor. He announces laying on the floor with his headset looking at the TV for 0 output there. You want
minimal
70 beats per minute.
68 is optimal, but
Yep.
I will let a 70 slide every once in a while.
We've got you cryogenically frozen in here, so we'll just freeze you and thaw you out this time next year. We'll see you next year. Keep his head in a jar of pickles or whatever. Light him back up. Like Han Solo, we'll bring him out of the floor. Oh, Rodney, your jokes, you'll live on in infamy. Should you pass in the next 30 minutes, you will have we'll put you in one of those commandments. You will jump over Rodney at some point, folks. He will be a part of this racetrack. Mount Rodney. That's where you're going to ride right over your face.
All right, let's wrap up this first lap here as these guys head.
You would think we don't like each other up here. I think we all just go so hard on each other, man. It's good times.
Well, Sawyer Gieck out front in this one. He gets around Carter Gray early on in this lap, and he's got things kind of sorted out here. So you look back to the rest of the pack. It is a little bit of a battle, especially back in that 3rd, 4th, 5th place positions. The riders are trying to make up maybe for some not so favorable starts, but Gieck in for lap 1 complete. Gray in the number 2 spot. He's the one that got your whole shot. Chase Brennan in 3rd. Alex Campili in 4th. Austin Keller in 5th. Eli Herrick in 6th. Joseph Vicari in 7th. Eden Steinbrecher in 8th.
Tied for the championship back in 8th, Ron. He's got some work to do.
Braxton Baldick and Kiki DePino starting out in 10th place. That might be about the best start I've seen for Kiki all week, if truth be told.
He'll take it, top 10. Packed house here in the 65, 7 to 9 class, and things working out for Gieck for sure.
Is it Gieck?
I don't know, Gieck. Sorry, I just say it. I say it 9 different ways, and
that way
eventually one of them will stick. I think you guys are all right. It's Gieck. Just take the I out of it. There's the 18. Wow, the 22 of Campili back just behind that battle there.
Yeah, Campili, kind of surprised we haven't seen him move up a little quicker, but we got to take into account the riders in front of him.
Yeah, very good riders right in front of him. Campili now says, okay, Rodney.
Through the red zone now.
You got anything else you want to say, old man?
Nope. Right there.
Yeah, he got it.
Yeah, that's what we were expecting.
Wow. Have to blur out his finger what he just did to you. That announcer guy. There's Campili, the number 22.
Now, these kids, man, it's hard to believe they're all basically 9 and 10 years old, and the effort that goes into the racing out here.
Like mini pros, man. They've watched all the superstars ride for so long, and they can emulate them.
And you know, and we, I mean, as race fans, you know, we get to watching it, and we expect that, you know, they'd be so much more mature than what they are.
I'm 10,
just
man.
by watching these kids ride, and then when they take their helmet off, you realize, yeah, exactly, that's
little babies.
Little babies.
Here's our leader. He is not a baby. He is a man right now. Sawyer Gieck handling business. He's going to have what? What's he got? 1-2-1 scores. And Aiden Steinbrecher, we're going to check back in with Eden Steinbrecher. He is in the number 8 spot. There's Campili now working on Gray.
Second, third, and fourth still pretty tight together right now. It's Campili, I believe, taking over the number 3 spot and is working on Gray for the number 2 position as they check in.
Up and over that step up. Campili now working on Gray. Our whole shot man. Okay, him going on the inside. You got to be confident with your rut riding abilities to take those inside lines. And Campili, man, he just cleaned that rut. That was perfect.
It was.
Look just like you on a bike, Rodney. Shades of Rodney Tomlin.
Near that perfection. It's hard to reach that.
you have achieved it. I've seen it. One magical moto, you and Ronnie Lachine back in '82 here. It was just a thing of beauty. There it is on the inside. Did he get it done? They are now officially slugging it out. Campili swings it around the outside. They're both going to hit that same rhythm.
Welcome.
And Campili switched his line during the 10 Commandments. He switched it again. He is quick. Going to go the long way around the outside. I hope he's got lots of fuel in that bike. Back to the inside, outside. Campili crafty with his lines, Rodney.
Very. And, again, we made mention of this a few motos ago, the track and the definition of the way it's defining today, a lot different than what we've seen throughout the entire week, I believe, for this third moto for these guys on this Saturday.
It's definitely, I would say I've seen 3 different versions of this racetrack. The first one was ungodly. It was so rough. The next one started morphing into this a little bit more hard packed, more of the base was showing up. Now you got this one. It's probably the best version in terms of what the riders would like to see in terms of it beating them to death. It's probably the most favorable for them. And 22 is closed in on Carter Gray.
Gray's done a good job of rising to the occasion. They came through a lap ago about 0.7 of a second. Things not really changing a whole lot.
Look at that lap time. Gieck, 2:14, a 2:18 for Gray. Campili with a 2:15. Steinbrecher with a 2:21 back in 6th.
Now the thing is, if Campili can get by or win, if this line works for him, the big question is what kind of gap will he have to make up? He was looking at near 7 seconds at the end of lap number 2, and at the end of lap number 3, it's 10.3 seconds that he's going to have to try to make up, and he's still in the heat of a battle for that second place position. Yeah, he's trying to get around
Gray. Man, Gray is just unwavering there. Campili continues to run that inside deep rut there. Goes below sea level, pops back up.
Steinbrecher, by the way, up to a 5th place position as we watch and round out the top 10 after 3. It's Gieck, Gray, Campili, Chase Brennan in 4th, Eden Steinbrecher in 5th, Austin Keller in 6th, Joseph Bacari in 7th, Kiki DePino in 8th, Eli Herrick in 9th, Waylon Ballinger rounding out the top 10. In terms of championship, 1-2-1 for the 16 of Gieck, and then Campili at 2-1-3 at the moment. I was just going to say Chase Brennan looking at a 3-4-4 for 3rd overall.
And Campili continues. He is using every bit of this racetrack. I know that's a common use cliche, but, dude, every time, wherever that rider is in front of him, he's on the other side of the track trying to get around this kid. I'm sure someone has been in his ear before, and that's just training right there.
And magically, he has not lost any time with any of his line choices so far.
Inside, outside. He is not afraid to rub grips with Carter Gray. I mean, they have been that close. And look at him square him up. He's done that so many times. Campili, dude.
I don't know.
Gray is unrelenting there as well. Can he get this pass done? I don't know. That we're trained on that flagger. Now we're back.
Yeah, I think a little bit of a mistake there, a little too far to the inside, maybe for the 96 as we see the 22 going by. Campili taking over.
Look at him go.
The number 2 spot. Now, how many seconds will he have to try to make up if he wants to win this championship? It's going to be a big row to hoe, I'm afraid, but just past the halfway point. We haven't even reached the halfway point. We're only 8.5 minutes into this, so we still might have a little bit of time, but 5 seconds a lap faster. A 2:12 is what Gieck just turned that last time around. And
well, he's been battling, so I think Campili will have a fresh, clean track and nobody to deal with but himself. There is our leader, I believe. Gieck on the number 18 machine already cleared the mechanics area, came in for fluids, a corn dog, get back out on that racetrack, and Campili has got some work to do, Rodney.
14 seconds to make up is exactly what work he has to do here. Carter Gray back to 3rd. Steinbrecher now up to 4th. He is 15 seconds behind that battle for the number 2 spot, and now 3rd place position.
Who just went off the track? There's somebody off the racetrack. You see him on the right-hand side of your screen there. I don't know if that was Gray. Who is that on there? There's riders down everywhere now. Good Lord. Is that still the 18 of Gieck?
Yeah, that's
Good
Gieck.
Lord. So the championship looks like this. It's Gieck and Campili tied up 1-2 and 2-1 Moto scores. There is the number 18 of Gieck, and he goes down. Gieck goes down. The number 15 is stuck behind him. There's the 53. He slides by. Now, can Gieck get that bike running? Here comes the 22. Not just yet. A big enough lead there for Gieck that Campili was not able to get around him. But New Life, if you are in that Campili camp there, they know what's going on. There is the 18 of Gieck. That championship just about went away, Rodney. That's like a worst-case scenario.
Worst-case scenario because a lot of energy exerted there, along with a spiking heart rate for this young 10-year-old at this particular point. A lot of adrenaline pumping there.
Here comes Campili right here on the 22. He's not far. He's got that down to about 5 seconds. So he's going to see that pit board, and I guarantee he's matched some quick lap times. Now, this will be the first lap he's had to not battle with someone. So there's the 22. Battling with the ruts, the lap riders. So Campili, New Life. But thankfully, such a comfortable lead, 13 seconds last time around for our leader, Sawyer Gieck. There is Campili. It's going to be less than 7 or so anyway. Man, composure to keep that thing going. Off the side of the track almost goes our leader again, so he's got to take a deep breath here. Campili with a near off-track excursion himself. Lap number 5, we've got 8 more minutes to go. 7 seconds sits back. Gieck and Campili. It was 13.
Almost 14. What seemed like an eternity there for a few moments for the 18 machine. It's hard to believe he still has
a decently comfortable lead. So there's Campili. He has got to go. If he wants this championship, he sits second. He's got to get around our leader, Sawyer Gieck.
Putting it in perspective, a 2:17 lap time last time around for Campili, so not real sure if that would have been enough to have chipped away at the lead of Gieck at that particular point anyway. So, again, you know, if Sawyer can keep his mind about him, it might just be a matter of just riding the pace that he was riding before he went down, and as long as he's not too frazzled and too much energy exerted, he probably won't have too much of a hard time doing that. Actually, temperatures out there, not
reasonable.
Yeah, they're very reasonable. The sun's not beating down out there, so these kids aren't being tormented as far as that is concerned.
And as we look at our leader, the number 18, the lead was about 14, 15 seconds. Now it's down to about 7. Sawyer Gieck went down on that last lap, but he's remounted. Still in that number 1 spot. West Coast kid on the number 18 machine. I say West Coast. He's out of Alpine, Wyoming. What do you consider that? It's not even Midwest, just the mountains. West.
Then you got the West Coast.
There you go, just kind of in the mountains somewhere. Trains up at about 15,000 feet.
Well, when I think of West, I think of Wild West, like cowboys and things like that. So I would think of Wyoming.
Okay, fair enough. Out of Laramie. All right, around the big sweeper, the Thor sweeper, Polysport sweeper. There's your leader, Campili, keeping it close. He is in second, so any little bobble, although there's been a big bobble, and it still wasn't enough to hand the lead over to Campili. There is our leader, the 18, coming into the view. Just behind him will be the 22. That was Gieck, your leader. Excuse me, Campili will come into view here in just a moment. Who do we got next? Race number 20.
Wow.
Gieck,
2:15.8.
Wow, way to dig deep.
Campili, 2:17.2. So now Campili is he's been consistent on his lap times, but he's now 9.2 seconds back. So Gieck has actually gained a little more time there. So he's cowboyed up, no doubt about that.
Oh, there it is from Wyoming. Of course he did. He did cowboy up. Got about 6 more minutes to go. See if Sawyer Gieck can keep it on 2 wheels. Gieck out front, Campili in the number 2 spot. Gray 3rd, Steinbrecher 4th, DePino 5th. Vicari is 6th, Keller, Nightingale, Woodman, and Waddell rounding out your top 10 here on Racer TV as we follow along with the 18. Sawyer Gieck started off second behind Carter Gray, made the pass, crashed, stayed up after that, and has still managed to stay in that number 1 spot. Rodney Tomlin has stood up, sat down, fell on the floor, back up, continues to announce with us You've had quite the moto yourself, Rodney.
Absolutely. These kids, watching these kids dig deep, I mean, this is the reason that I come each and every year. It's to watch the hard work of every individual that lines up on that starting line. You know, the heartbreak stories as much as the stories of glory that you hear out there. I mean, that's what makes Loretta Lynn.
Couldn't agree more. Gieck on his way to hopefully a title. That's what he wants. Works a full-time job at the Amazon Fulfillment Center. Goes to school, married, 2 kids. Great little story with him. There is the number 18 of Sawyer Gieck. And like he said, after a crash, he's still able to just immediately drop the hammer on lap times and keep his head sharp and ready to go. As the 2-lap board will now come out for the number 18 of Sawyer Gieck. 1-2-1 scores, going to be good enough for the championship.
Look, another 2:15.7.
And now that's consistent and fast.
Yeah.
2-lap board. We see ya.
Man, he did, you know, a 2:12.4. We saw Sawyer turn on lap number 4. So, I mean, he's just kind of like.
He was just getting in his groove. Then he crashes the next lap.
And he slows down to a smooth 2:15.
Yeah, that's a manageable number there. He was trying to yard the field at that point, take away any hope from Campili. Gray still sitting 3rd, Steinbrecher 4th, DePino is 5th. Closing stages here, we'll see the white flag next time around. Tough moto for Brian Spencer. Can't quite locate the racetrack, struggling with which way to go.
Listen for the motors, Brian.
Brian's right next to us. I know he can hear. Heading into the mechanics area, that's right. Takes that left, nice and wide turn there. That is not our leader. That's the number 50 of Keiki DePino, following along in his 5th place campaign. Here on lap number 7, he turned a 2:24.
Just checking there, the 27 machine of Joseph Bakary running back in the number 6 spot. Cade Nightingale in 7th. Anderson Waddell in 8th. Waylon Bollinger in 9th. Bryson Woodman rounding out the top 10. And Bakary, pretty solid ride for him so far this week. We see him looking at the likelihood of a top 10 overall with 7th, coming out of Michigan with a 5:12.6 at the moment. So
there you go.
Yeah.
That 12th place did him in there because he would have been in the top 3 or so. 7.55 scores, good enough for Keiki DePino. Those are some high numbers to get a top 3 finish. 7, a 5, and a 5. That's 17 points. But then look at that. 4 points for our leader, 1-2-1. 5 points for our 2nd place rider, 2-1-2, and then 17 points for our 3rd place rider. So numbers all jumbled up back there. Yeah, all you have to do is just hover around the top 10, be in the top 10, and you might find yourself
what
top
happened
5.
to Brennan. I thought Brennan was running a little stronger than that. He's back in 17th place position right now. He finished 3rd and 4th in his motos out there.
Obviously, some problems have besieged him. There's the number 18 white flag lap. 1 more to go for Gieck. The air horn out there running out of air now. It sounds a little sad, getting a little tired. Even the air horns kind of break down after 20 minutes. They start off strong. They're very powerful. And then they sound very sad and weak towards the end of the moto. White flag is out one more time through the 10 commandments. The number 18. It is Sawyer Gieck. He has led pretty much every minute of this race. Even when he was on the ground crashed, he was still leading.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm really impressed by how, not only how quick and he was able to manage that get up and get away with, obviously, but I mean how he settled into that 2:15 pace. The last lap around was the first time that I think we saw him break that, and he went to a 2:19. And why not? You've got about a 20-second lead at that particular point, and now 17.8 seconds is what we're looking at. So, and lap traffic is pretty thick right now. No need in pushing the envelope as he finds his way around out of Storyland one final time here for 2022 on his way home to the national championship.
That sounds good. And the left-hander not even remotely wanting to come together with that young rider there in the sand. Going to take his beach toys and head on up to the podium. Mom's rolling up everything. Dad's got the cooler. He's dragging everything across the sand. They pile it up on him to get to the car. Everybody's waiting on him. Feet are burning. A couple more turns to go. The number 18 is going to take you home, Rodney. You take us home.
Well, one final turn. The Bermuda Triangle never looks so sweet as it does right now for Sawyer Gieck. And that hard left-hand turn of the drive home to a checker flag and the 2022 Monster Energy AMA Amateur National Championship for the 65cc 7-9. Alex Campili, definitely a lot to be proud of himself here this week as he will finish up in that number 2 position, or at least that's we're expecting to see him on the 22 machine. Carter Gray in 3rd, Eden Steinbrecher in 4th this moto. Kiki DePino in the number 5 spot. As pointed out, if things continue the way they are, a 7.55 will actually yield him a 3rd place overall. But again, moto medals go to Gieck, Campili, and Carter Gray, who grabbed the whole shot award here in this 3rd and final moto, checking in with 9 laps complete now. Steinbrecher due in next with Kiki DePino, McCary, Nightingale, Waddell, and also Hawkins Campbell with White, Waylon Ballinger rounding out the top 10 here in the final moto. As we look at our moto order and these riders head to the championship here, we have more great racing on this Saturday, the final day of racing. Coming up next to be the 250C Junior 12 to 17 Limited, scheduled for our 10:30 gate drop. And right now scheduled to take that national championship in the AMA number 1 plate, Sawyer Gieck, as Jason Wygant will join him on the podium.
All right, just looking for our 3rd place finisher, Carter Gray. We got to get this podium rolling. Carter. All right, here we go. We're going to go out front. Stasek Whole Shot Award and a bronze to Carter Gray. Here, come over here. All right. This is a really tough class. Tell me about your moto, Carter.
I got the whole shot from the inside, and then I just holded it wide open, just railed out sides first couple laps, then rode my race, and Steinbrecher, Gieck passed me on my 2nd, 3rd lap, and then 2nd got me, and then I just was trying to ride my own race.
Good job, and you got 3rd. Who do you want to thank?
Mom, Dad, Driven MX Training, AES, X-Brand Goggles, Fly, everyone else I forgot.
All right, let's hear it for Carter Gray. All right, we're going to bring up our 2nd place finisher. Well, they split titles. It was a great battle all week long between 2 riders. Let's bring our 2nd place man on up. And we'll give him the silver, Alex Campili. Great battles all week in this class. Here, we'll let you take some photos. And come on over here. We'll stand in the center of the box. You got a title yesterday. It was a great battle with you guys all week. Take me through how this moto turned out for you.
I made a lot of mistakes. I got off to a bad start.
Yep. And that's the way it turned out. Still, you got to be pretty proud. I know you wanted this one too, but it's a big deal to get that title yesterday, right?
Yeah.
All right, who do you want to thank?
My mom, Dad, Game Moto, Oakley, Rhino Power, DRS, RJR, Dirt Bike Kids, and everyone else. Thank you.
There it is, Alex Campili. And he also helped our 50 riders open the champagne yesterday. He was given some lessons, so I appreciate that too. Now we clear the decks and bring up our champion, Redemption Ride. It was a showdown moto yesterday. He had the heartbreak. He comes back today and gets the championship. Let's hear it for Sawyer Gieck. Yeah, Sawyer, look, man, I know you had to be so upset yesterday in that big battle. How were you able to bounce back and collect yourself and get this one?
Yeah, I crashed in the Moto yesterday, last lap. It just gave me more fire to come out and win this one, and we got it done.
It has to feel even better. It has to feel so good.
Yes, sir.
Who do you want to thank, Sawyer?
I'd like to thank Jesus Christ for keeping me safe. My mom, my dad, the whole KTM Orange Brigade crew, Fly Racing, Moto Sandbox, OG Goggles, PPS, DRS suspension, TRX throttles, and just everybody who got me up on this podium. It just wouldn't have been possible without you guys, and thank you so much.
All right. Let's bring up Tab from the AMA and hand out a #1 plate in 65. Your national champion, everybody, is Sawyer Gieck.